I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. This also goes for every Trinbagonian who want to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique together. I want to welcome you to the hub. Again, we have a unique opportunity to talk using social media and the radio to connect. My name is Kem Jones, and it is indeed a pleasure for me to go on that journey with you where we can learn together, where we can know more by engaging in a meaningful dialogue using the technology available to us. This morning, I spoke about agriculture and the amount of things that the NDC administration did in agriculture. But yet, for all, the NNPs out there saying all kinds of stuff, attacking the government, trying to play as though they love the farmers and they love the fishers. But the record will show that the NDC did more in 2.5 years for the farmers and the fishers than the NNP in 23 years and a half. And we know Keith Mitchell and the NNP and all of them, they don't like agriculture. They don't see agriculture as anything that should be embraced to build a nation, to feed a nation. They don't see agriculture as important in the developmental process, in building Grenada, in transforming Grenada, in making Grenada self-reliant, being able to feed its people and so on. The NNP don't see that as important. But the NDC has invested a lot in agriculture and also education. You hear them talking and talking as the NNP that they want to come and rescue Grenada, that they launching a new PR campaign and all kinds of stuff. But we need to look at what the NDC did in the last 2.5 years in many different areas. Because remember, during the campaign, the NDC said they would prioritize agriculture, they would prioritize education, they would prioritize the creative sector, they would prioritize healthcare, they would prioritize, human resource development, the regularization, and that kind of stuff. They would prioritize that. So we are seeing the fruits of that. So let's look at education. Some of the things that the NDC did in education for the last 2.5 years. That's just some. All right. So let's start off with the tuition, the free tuition support. All right. Well, free meals first. Free hot meals in schools. Because remember, before, the students had to bring their $1 or bring their $3 to get a meal in school. And if you don't have the money, if your parents don't have the money, then you have to stay hungry or not go to school.
Effective January 2nd, 2024, government has taken a bold step towards enhancing the well-being of students by eliminating lunchtime meal fees in both primary and secondary schools. Minister for Finance Dennis Cornwall, in the recent 2024 budget presentation, announced the removal of the $1 fee for primary school meals and the $3 fee for secondary school meals. This initiative aims to guarantee all students access to nutritious and healthy meals while at school. The decision, projected to save parents over $2 million and prioritizing the health and wellness of students, was lauded by Executive Secretary of the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, Lydia Brown, who emphasized on Thursday that besides the nutritional benefits, it is expected to boost school attendance.
I know currently in the school there are children who would pay for the meal, but I also know in some schools there are some children who cannot pay but they still get a meal. But I think this would take away some of the mental effect that children would have on, I don't have money to pay. So some children may not go to the lunchroom because they don't know what kind of response they would get when they say that they're not able to pay. So I think that in itself is a benefit to the children and to the parents, because sometimes some children go to school looking forward to the lunch meal, and some parents may not send their children to school if they don't have the money to give them.
She also asserted that with the elimination of the fees, discrimination is also eradicated, and this move will create an inclusive and supportive environment for all students partaking in the school feeding program.
So I think it's very important. This is a very interesting undertaking and very welcome undertaking, because now all the children can participate, not feeling that well, I'm participating in the lunch program because I'm poor, or I'm not participating because I don't want people to think, because now we're all on the playing field has been leveled. So everyone can feel comfortable to have a meal at the school, and I hope that children and parents would encourage their children to participate in the lunch meal because it's a healthy meal that is being prepared for them.
Furthermore, Brown highlighted the pivotal role of farmers.
The farmers contributing is something that has been in discussions for many, many years, and it may have happened in some schools, and some schools may have an excellent communication and excellent linkage with farmers in their communities. But I think this has to be done on a more organized scale, so that farmers know that when they grow their produce, they have a market for it and that they're going to be paid for it. Because a lot of times farmers don't want to sell if they know that the money is not going to be readily available. If it's not on point of sale, but they know monthly that they would have a steady income and they have that market.
Brown also encouraged schools to enhance their backyard gardening programs, promoting self-sufficiency due to the anticipated surge in demand. According to ministry officials, with the removal of the fees still in its preliminary stages, they will conduct an assessment to determine the quantity of students that will benefit from the program, including its successful implementation. They are also in the process of implementing the launch of the Healthy Start Nutrition Program that will see a more holistic approach to the nutrition, health, and well-being of students.
Yes, so we know 13,000 students benefit from the free hot meal program every day. 13,000 students from different levels: primary, secondary, pre-primary, 13,000. So what the government did was to remove the fees. So the parent, maybe they have 2 children or 3 children in the school, they no longer have to find that extra $1 or extra $3, because at the primary level it was $1 every day. At the secondary school level it is $3. Well, it was $3 every day. So the government is paying that, and the government is supplying the required stuff to cook, the items to cook. So that program is going nicely. It's not perfect. From time to time, you will have little issues, but it is a very, very good program, if you ask me, and that's a new introduction. The doc salaries were paid.
It will be like Christmas in July for some teachers, as government makes good on its promise to repay salaries that were docked in 2018. During the new government's first post-cabinet press briefing on Tuesday, Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, told members of the media that $1,264,000 will be paid to teachers at the end of July. The previous administration had docked the salaries of teachers who were involved in protest action and remained away from school for nearly 2 weeks. Minister Andrew said the repayment can help to enhance the relationship between the ministry and the teachers, as well as the level of production in the classroom.
Right. So the doc salary or salaries were paid to the teachers. Remember, the NNP administration took their money from their salary, and as a result, you had work to rule, no intercall, no primary school sports, no science fairs, no debates, nothing extra. They were just working based on their contractual arrangement with the Ministry of Education. So that was paid. We also know that local history was returned to schools.
Students in Forms 1 and 2 will be the first to embrace Grenadian history in the classroom come September, when the Ministry of Education introduces this new element in the school's curriculum. A new textbook will support the introduction of the subject. This move is expected to produce well-rounded graduates and citizens who will develop a strong sense of national identity and patriotism. Nicole Dow, PhD, head of site at the University of the West Indies, Grenada Open Campus, is the author of the selected textbook, Junior History of Grenada. It is published by Collins, a publishing house Dow has previously worked with. Dr. Dow also co-authored the Social Studies text for Forms 2 and 3 and collaborated on editing the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Starting in 2020, it took Dr. Dow approximately 18 months to complete the new text. Dow says the format of the text was important to encourage students' curiosity in the subject of history. The book's author explained how students can gain access to the text.
The texts that we have currently would be for teachers, one, and the ministry is responsible for bringing in the text for students. So I was called by two friends to say that it's on the timetable, it's on the book list for students going into Form 1, and they were very excited about that. So that the students going into Form 1 and the students who are already in Form 2, they will be getting their books through the Ministry of Education. In terms of persons who want to purchase a book after, we do have a launch in September. The dates have not been finalized yet, and so the cost has not been finalized yet, but we will have a launch between the first and second week of September so that anyone who wants to purchase can actually purchase a copy of the textbook.
A series of one-day workshops were recently held with history teachers on the introduction of the National History Curriculum for lower secondary school students. Anne Baptiste Walter, a history teacher at the Grenville Secondary School, shared her perspective on this addition to the curriculum.
I've been a teacher for the past 18 years, and this is the very first time that we have a history book that is indigenous to Grenada. And I believe that this is very important to our students and even to us as teachers, because there is a lot of ignorance about our Grenadian history, and this book would definitely narrow a lot of the gaps in that. Our students will now be able to make the connection on the historical trajectory with the past, present, and future in terms of our local history and not necessarily on the Caribbean level.
Christina John, GBN News.
Right. So Grenada or Grenadian history is now in schools, and that's a big thing because it was not there before. The author who wrote the book, wonderful, a Grenadian. So we think the NDC is focused on the holistic development of our students.
It has often been said that skills is an essential component of the education process. To ensure a marriage of skills and academics from the primary level, the Ministry of Education launched the TVET expansion program for primary schools this week. We have details by Annette Moore.
The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture launched the TVET expansion program for primary schools on Tuesday, May 9th at the Woburn Methodist School in St. George. In her welcome remarks, Chief Education Officer Angela Finley says making an effort is sometimes all that is required.
It only takes a spark to get the fire going. For officers of this ministry, today's ceremony is one of elation, a milestone in a makeover journey which has registered thus far consultation with many groups of key stakeholders leading to the development of our national TVET policy, collaboration with the staff of the Grenada National Training Agency to develop a strategic paper for TVET expansion, deep dive engagements with principals and TVET teachers in selected primary schools, and audits of technical and vocational facilities within selected primary schools.
This TVET expansion program for primary schools is being implemented under the theme TVET Essential Skills, Fostering Inclusion, Lifelong Learning and National Development. The National TVET Policy and Strategy has already received preliminary approval by government, and the expansion of skills in primary schools is one of its transformative actions aimed at closing the skills gap between the skills needed by employers and the lack of those among prospective employees. The introduction of skills at the primary school level is therefore intended to spark students' interest in technical and vocational skills. In his feature presentation at the launch ceremony, Senator the Honorable David Andrew spoke of the Government of Grenada's TVET strategy.
From the time we started discussing TVET and TVET expansion, in keeping with one of the priorities of this new administration to bridge the gap that exists in the world of work and what our school system was churning out, there was such an overwhelming support and response from our ministry staff, from PS, CEO, curriculum officers, and everyone. And once we kept discussing, you just felt the energy in the way they worked. You must have heard recently we had approved in our cabinet the TVET, National TVET Policy, and the Ministry of Education's skills mapping document that maps out how we are going to bridge the gap, how we are going to arrive at the provision of skills nationally, both in school and out of school for our youth and our students. We are going to propose that even at the secondary level, there is always going to be a TVET subject as part of the deliverable for the ideal secondary school graduate. And even having amongst selected schools centers of excellence from the secondary level. And that's outlined in the policy.
This will also include a plan to have a sixth form.
TVET is absolutely necessary to sustain the development we want. This administration is committed, understanding the importance that technical and vocational education carries. We are committed to doing what it takes to making sure that we meaningfully address this gap and provide sustainable and meaningful opportunities for our people.
Minister Andrew advised that TVET must be delivered in such a way that the important foundational skills and knowledge are packaged with it to ensure that persons certified in TVET can also obtain the higher paying jobs. In a presentation titled TVET, A Pathway to Employment, Deputy Executive Officer at the New Life Organization, Lorna Douglas, highlighted NULO's gains in the areas of skill training, which is the focus of that institution.
The NULO family endorses this initiative being undertaken by the Ministry of Education to bring awareness of the TVET at the primary school level, which will result in greater collaboration, participation, and expansion nationally. TVET is now becoming a household name in Grenada in similar fashion to NULO.
Douglas notes the importance of skills in increasing one's employability and emphasized that math and English is a critical foundation for building expertise needed in those areas. She also says there is an increase in demand for students from that institution.
Since its inception in July 1984, NULO opened its doors with the first cohort of 40 students, 33 boys and 7 girls in 10 skilled areas. In 2023, almost 40 years later, over 6,000 young men and women have been trained what is now 18 technical skills area. There is now a high demand for students who have completed secondary school to enter NULO to undertake skills training. For the period January to March 2023, over 55 business establishments have contacted NULO for past trainees for employment opportunities. And this is just a limited number because there are other small businesses who have been calling.
Justin Joseph, a former trainee from the second batch of trainees to attend NULO in 1986, now...
Yes, so again, TVET as a technical and vocational education and training in the schools, that is back at the primary level, go all the way up. It's so important because, you know, days of old, you would learn to cook in the home economics section. You would learn to make a chair or fix a chair or make a table or so in the it's a technical, what's the name of that, handicraft, right? Handicraft, they used to call it handicraft at the primary level and other things. So now it is back. So that was missing from primary school level all the way up to secondary school level, learning different things with your hands, more technical. While it's important to study the science subjects or math or English or so, it is also important to know that there are people or students in the school who are good with their hands, who could become a good carpenter, a good mason, a good electrician, a good plumber, you know, a good seamstress, a good tailor, a good cook, a chef. So that is really woodwork, right? In handicraft. Woodwork, that's it. The woodwork. So I am simply saying the NDC introduce that. Get that back, reintroduce it. So you have Spanish, foreign language being taught in the school. And that's something that I could bring up here too. So TVET, foreign language. Right, let me get the foreign language. History. And there's a foreign language somewhere here. I remember there was a piece on the foreign language at the primary school level, or at least Spanish to start with at the school level. Right, not seeing that, but it's somewhere here. I think it's about 10 or 20 schools.
Started introducing Spanish in primary schools. So last year we did a certain number. This year we've introduced it to a further 10 schools. So there'll be over 20 schools, just over 20 schools now doing Spanish as a second language at the primary level. But of course, sustainability is always an issue. So cooperation with Cuba in an area like that will certainly benefit us well. And that was one of the areas that we have in the Memorandum of Understanding. It's a proven literacy program that works with adults. If my memory serves well, I think it was once used in Grenada, probably during the revolution. And it's been used in other parts of the world to raise the level of literacy in adult populations. And so the Yes I Can program is one of those areas for cooperation, and we are actively pursuing that even at the ministry, setting up the infrastructure to begin to get the technical advice and guidance from some of the experts.
Right. So Spanish was introduced at the primary level in the schools, a foreign language. And then I think they said they would go into French. So things are happening. Things are happening within the education sector in the country because the NDC prioritized education. And still, the NNP saying, man, nothing is being done. Nothing is being done for education. Nothing is being done for agriculture. Nothing is being done in this area and that area. Right? You cannot please these people. But it's so important to put on the table the achievements of the NDC. That's, to me, very, very important. Then you had a lot of scholarships being handed out. A lot of scholarships being handed out. Cuba, let's start with the $4.8 million Cuba scholarships.
The Embassy of the Republic of Cuba has awarded scholarships to Grenadian students in medicine and engineering to the tune of $4.8 million. An award ceremony was held recently at its headquarters in Lansepine, St. George. Annette Moore has the details in this report.
The Embassy of the Republic of Cuba hosted a scholarship awards ceremony on June 21st at its headquarters in Lansepine, St. George. 9 Grenadians were presented with awards valued at $4.8 million to further studies in the Republic of Cuba. 3 students received awards for Bachelor of Medicine degrees, 4 for postgraduate degrees in medicine, and 2 for undergraduate studies in the field of engineering.
Right, so $4.8 million Cuban scholarship. Then you had $44.7 million scholarship awarded or scholarships awarded.
The Ministry of Education hosted its first scholarship award ceremony for 2024 on Wednesday at its facility at the Sir Eric Matthew Botanical Gardens. 100 scholarships totaling $44.7 million were awarded. 83 scholarships worth more than $43.1 million were awarded for study at the St. George's University.
It feels very ecstatic being an awardee, and I intend to use a scholarship to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering.
You're expected to make the best use of these scholarship facilities. You will be committed to your classes, committed to ensuring that you do well, demonstrate that the impartial decision that was made by the scholarship unit to award you a scholarship was indeed the right decision.
The Grenada-Houston Association presented 9 awards worth more than $12,000, and 8 students received island scholarships in excess of $1.5 million. Representatives from the various...
Right, so again, 4.7, that's $44.7 million in scholarships awarded there. Because it's important that people know. All right, it's important that people know. So we move now to the students from Carriacou after Hurricane Beryl. Support was given to them in the sum of $1.5 million.
80 students from Carriacou and Petite Martinique received education care packages from the government of Grenada on Wednesday. This will assist in the uninterrupted flow of their educational journey at the T.A. Marichaud Community College and the New Life Organization, NULO. Minister for Education is Honorable David Andrew.
Education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Students, your education is part of the recovery effort from Hurricane Beryl. Your education is part of the recovery from the destruction of Hurricane Beryl. And I want you to understand that. And that's why I'm happy you're here. Because Beryl probably took the roof and took some structures. But you get this well, Beryl and a million like it can't take it from you. And so I want you to understand what's happening here. This government understands, your government understands the value of education to its people, and we have put a high priority on education.
The education care packages covers $2,000 for accommodation, meals and transportation, $5,000 for uniforms and $1,200 for textbooks for the first month's installment. Additionally, each student will receive a laptop. From the second month, students will only receive the $2,000 monthly to cover living expenses, given that uniforms and textbooks will already have been covered in the initial payment. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell stated that $1.5 million will be disbursed over the next 10 months.
So make use of the opportunity that you've been given. Become the generation that will tell the success stories and be living proof of the success stories as a result of Hurricane Beryl. So that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when young persons are facing some type of adversity, you can use this as an example of what you went through and how it made you stronger, how it made you bigger, better, and how you ensured that the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique rose again.
The initiative is sponsored by La Luna Boutique Hotel and Villas, Sandals Grenada, and the Republic Bank CBL T20 Cricket. Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, Honorable Tevin Andrews, encouraged students to make the best of every opportunity.
Students of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, I wish you all the best. An opportunity has been, you have an opportunity now that you never had before. Things have been made much easier for you as a result of the devastation. So in spite of the devastation and the hardship that we are currently facing, there are some silver lining behind those dark clouds. Take advantage of it and please make us all proud.
The packages were distributed under the theme, Investing in Our Future. For MTV News, Kayla Flavany.
Right, so the students, 80 students from Carriacou, after Hurricane Beryl, they had some challenges, well, plenty, and the government stepped in to assist them, to relocate them. So they got, money for housing, money for transport, a laptop, they got uniform allowance, and every month they get in a certain amount to keep them going, which is really good for 1 year. Thumbs up and kudos to the government. But still, the NNP will be out there telling you nothing is happening. The government is not doing this. The government is not doing that. That is how they operate. The free tuition.
The government of Grenada will officially launch its free tuition program on Monday, September 4th. The launch will take place at the Grenada Trade Center from 2:30 p.m. and will be broadcast live on the Government Information Service. The free tuition policy has been approved by Cabinet for students attending T.A. Marshall Community College and the New Life organization. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, said the free tuition policy will also be extended to the 3-year pharmacology program at TAMCC. Senator Andrew clarified that although tuition will be absorbed by the government, students will still pay for ID cards, registration, and other deliverables. He said his government has allocated $2.5 million towards the free tuition policy.
This policy is one where the government will pay the tuition fees associated with study at TAMCC or NULO, right, or any other approved center in time. And so we know that the $810 annual fee that was payable at the T.A. Marshall Community College, that fee will be absorbed through this government's free tuition policy. Further, that same fee will be applied to persons pursuing studies at NULO. So I know it will cover the tuition part of NULO fees, but it will be an excess that will be applied to some of the other fees. So we want to make it clear, we are not saying there are no other fees. You may have to pay registration fees, you may have to pay T-shirts and other delivery.
Right, thank you very much there, the Honorable David Andrew. Yes, we know that the free tuition policy that came into effect, and all the students of TAMCC and NULO, they are enjoying that. All the students. But the NNP condemned that. The NNP came out and they condemned that, what's her name? This Kate Lewis lady, MP for somewhere in St. Andrew. She came out and condemned that.
Let's look at the failed policy of free tuition for all. A failed policy. When you are implementing a policy, it is important to look at the impact of that policy. And the policy should do better for our people, not worse. So they said they're putting free tuition for TAMCC and NULO. Another misleading statement, because free tuition is not $810. This is the TAMCC tuition. But based on the course you are doing, it will cost more. So that is not free totally, because parents have to put in some money. But let's imagine you remove the assistance for transportation. You remove the assistance for meals, and you said, we are paying your tuition. Do you know the level of TAMCC dropout at this time? It is very high, because even if you pay for me to attend school...
Right, so we found out that what she's saying is a total lie. In fact, I personally inquired, and it is a real huge lie on the part of this woman about the rate of TAMCC dropout and about hot meals and transportation. Under the NNP, that was not the case. The NNP never supported people with free tuition and free transportation and free meals and free everything. They were not doing that. But you see, shame, she shame. All right? Shame, she shame. That the NDC came and they were able to implement that. So it was a total lie about TAMCC dropouts and so on. When I inquired, it's just far, far, far from the truth. See, these people, they go on a platform and they just say what they think their supporters will jump and laugh or giggle about. All right? But, you know, Kate Lewis is a piece of political mess, if you ask me. All right? So the free tuition and people, Grenadians, were up in praises for that.
Well, I think it's a good decision. It's a good thing to do, you know. That I would like to see that happen a lot, even from the revolution time.
Well, that's a better chance they get to get a higher education, you know, if they don't have to pay. But somebody will have to pay anyway, you know. It's nothing free, like you know. If the kids don't pay, we pay, right? Don't it? It's good to give them a good chance, you know. By omitting that from there, give them a better chance, give the poor guys a chance to get up to university standard, don't it?
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah. It's a little ease up on the parents. For me, it was very hard a bit, but for the parents, so I'm very happy for them because, you know, things is very tough. It's very hard these days. So that is a good gesture the government come up with.
They not to pay. It's a good idea, as you think. But if they not to pay, that save the parents a lot.
And I must fully compliment this government for implementing free tuition and so on within TAMCC. 2 years ago, I was a student of TAMCC, and if that happened in my time while I was studying, I would be grateful. But others, young persons as me, aspiring, ambitious as me, have an opportunity now to really develop themselves educationally. There has been many struggles for many of us and Grenada educationally, and many because of the lack of proper financial support, they can't go to TAMCC. So this is allowing every and anybody within our society to go to that next important step. Oh yes, fully compliment them, I support them regarding this wonderful, momentous move.
It's just a good, beautiful. Yes. So sorry there to the last person, but that's really a good move. But you know, the NNP, they will still be on their platform talking rubbish, giving you all kind of nonsense stories. They just hate good. The NNP, they hate good things. They don't want good things to come to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They hate good things. All right?
The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture officially handed over the newly refurbished and expanded Grenada SDA Comprehensive School in Montrose St. Patrick recently. Annette Moore has the details in this report.
The EC $8.3 million project is titled The Expansion and Refurbishment of the Grenada SDA Comprehensive School. It was funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and the Government of Grenada under Phase 1 of the Grenada Education Enhancement Project. Work began on the school on July 21, 2021. During the handing over ceremony, manager of the Grenada SDA Comprehensive School, Dr. Clinton Lewis, says the school is now healed.
The rehabilitation and expansion of this school, the Grenada SDA Comprehensive, has been a dream and a burning desire of ours for many, many years. As we experienced the handing over of this facility today, we rejoice and we give thanks for this very unique experience.
The Education Minister complimented the principal and staff for enduring the tough times with grace.
We are happy that the former administration saw it fit to embark on this project, and we are quite happy as an incoming government to see it come to fruition. The real value is in the quality of educational output that this results in.
The Education Minister also thanked the contractor for the high quality of work produced. The engineer for the project was Dwayne Noel of VICAP Engineering Consultants Limited, and the contractor...
Yes, so that school was completed, and of course the previous administration started the project in terms of getting the funding and so on for the project, right? But, well, David Andrews, Andrew spoke about it there, giving the last administration some thumbs up. But for me, if I had the mic, I would not give them any credit. Because when NDC was in power and they left all those projects in the pipeline, they never gave NDC any credit. So a true politician there would just talk about the project and applaud the project and, you know, not even mention them, right? But, you know, David Andrew, he's a good church-going person, and he decided to give credit to the previous administration for starting, having it in the pipeline. But the NDC came and completed the process. That's the refurbishing of that school. All right? Yeah.
A rendition by the St. David's RC School's choir at the handing over ceremony of the school on Thursday, marking the return of students and staff to a permanent, comfortable learning and teaching facility. Sunrise Construction Company Director Desmond John gave an overview of the project.
It was a renovation of 3 existing buildings, namely the upper classroom block, lower classroom block, and kindergarten building, all in derelict condition. The demolition of the existing timber storage building and construction of a gazebo in its place. The complete construction of a new 2-story administrative building divided into principal's office with bathrooms, secretary area, staff room, kitchenette, and toilet. External works include perimeter fence, vehicular and pedestrian access gate, covered paved walkways, curbs, external stairs, drains, stormwater disposal.
Principal of St. David's RC Primary School, Nicole Batiste, believes the new environment will have a significant impact on students' intellectual and social development.
Seeing this amazing construction from the inside out
gives me a great sense of satisfaction. And I know that everyone present here must also feel proud and satisfied with a job well done.
Yes. So again, I say to you that, the NDC, they continue to do a lot of work, but the NNP, man, they complaining, they grinding, they groaning, they blaming, what they ain't saying. All right? But the NDC administration is focused on the development of the education sector.
On November 22nd, the Ministry of Education signed a $27.4 million contract with Kichanoa and Sunrise Construction JV Inc. to begin construction of a new school facility for the Grenada Christian Academy at Pearl St. Andrew. Today, the process moves one step closer with a sod-turning ceremony at the new school site, which is located behind the basketball court adjacent to the Pearls airstrip. Construction is scheduled to begin next Monday, April 8th. Annette Moore has the details in this report.
On November 22, 2023, the Ministry of Education signed a $27.4 million contract with Kichanoa and Sunrise Construction JV Incorporated to begin construction of a new school facility for the Grenada Christian Academy at Pearls St. Andrew. Today, April 3rd, 2024, the progress moves one step closer with a sod-turning ceremony at the new school site, which is located behind the basketball court adjacent to the Pearls airstrip. Construction is scheduled to begin next Monday, April 8th. The Grenada Christian Academy currently houses just under 150 students, but will be able to accommodate 300 in the new school structure, with the future possibility of expanding that number up to 500. Government, ministry, and school officials, the contractor, students, and community members gathered to witness the sod turning.
Education is not a subject or a topic or a public good that is to be politicized or made partisan, but is one that we should all embrace and work to make sure that we bring to fruition and to success. So I want to start off by publicly acknowledging MP Kate Lewis and publicly thanking the former administration for the tremendous work that they would have done to ensure that this project is a reality today. And we are only doing what must be done to ensure that we get the project up and going.
Yes, so that project there, and I remember Kate Lewis going on a platform and run she mouth, bomb she gum on that same project, So NDC has a level of maturity to talk about, the work that the previous administration done and them continuing it. I remember she went on a platform and boy, I tell you. So again, the Grenville Anglican School.
During a recent end-of-year review with the Ministry of Education, Education Minister Senator David Andrew announced that construction of the long-awaited St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School new educational facility is set to commence during the first quarter of 2025. The school has faced significant hurdles, beginning with its temporary relocation to Progress Park St. Andrew, following which the temporary structure was gutted by a major fire, resulting in the displacement of over 400 students. The school is now nestled at another temporary location at the Telescope Resource Center in St. Andrew. According to Minister Andrew, a sod-turning ceremony will be held during the Hillary school term, which begins in January, at the original site in the town of Grenville.
Finally, we have a no objection from the CDB for the construction of the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School. We are soon to have, probably with all this happening now, we probably wouldn't have it, but very early in the new term, we'll have the signing and the sod-turning to commence construction of the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School at its previous location in Grenville. Okay. We have had the consultations with all the parents, all the stakeholders, the student representatives, community, and
it's a fascinating plan. I look forward to it.
The project is part of the Grenada Education Enhancement Project Phase 2, funded by the Caribbean Development Bank to the tune of over $19 million.
Yes. And I think St. David, a new school, is to be built in St. David too. All right, in St. David. I had that here somewhere, but they intend to do a similar thing in St. David. All right. All right.
To have a new school building, this school will be relocated at Malmount St. David.
And it had floodage.
In September 2022, more suitable
Grenada Tree Schools Project, or the Grenada School Enhancement Project. So it's ready to...
The final just stepping into that building is what we're really looking forward to.
My name is Jasper John.
And IT and science being done there, and on the top floor you would have home management, food and nutrition, and clothing and textiles. So you have a whole wing area for the technical subjects, and that's a good thing. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing.
Member of the Catholic Church Board, Bishop Clyde Harvey, also weighed in on the discussion.
Well, I'm very happy that we've been able to have this presentation, because we've been asking about this for the last 6 years. And finally we have it. And we have an impressive presentation, one that generally speaking seems to be meeting the various suggestions that have been made by the stakeholders, particularly in terms of the school community itself. I have a sense of, particularly on the staff side, a certain excitement about the project. But I would really...
Right. So that's good. St. David Catholic Secondary School. So quite a bit. The government has done a lot of work in so many areas, right? And then you have the Uniform and School Supplies Program that continuing.
The first cohort of beneficiaries under the government's Uniform and School Supply Program received their QR codes this week to facilitate back-to-school shopping. The program gives assistance to families with students in both primary and secondary institutions who are preparing for the new term. Government transitioned from vouchers to cashless transfers in...
Right, so that program continues. So the government has done a lot in the area of education and agriculture, but still the NNP will be out there saying that they have not done this and they have not done that, and it's a whole pile of nonsense coming from the NNP. But you cannot please them. So the government just have to continue to do what they have to do and bring benefits to our people. Folks, I want to wish you all the best tonight. Take good care, and I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, starting from 8 in the evening.